which currently will only feature one boat, and this is just a procedure that needs to be gone through to start the race. The Kiwis have to at least do that much to register their victory. Seems like a curious protocol, Ken, but one that everybody signs up to early on in the piece.
That's exactly correct, and all these rules are signed off on by everybody. They're not going to do anything crazy. They're just going to kind of dog it into this starting box and have a little run at it. Maybe try to learn something. They might be able to tick a few boxes here on their own, just sailing around on their own. But at the same time, let's face it, the priority is to get the win. Imagine the disaster if they're just kind of hot-shotting around a little bit in the pre-start and broke something themselves and couldn't even start the race. So their only priority right now is get over that starting line on the correct side, no harm, no foul, and very likely Chief Umpire Richard Slater then black flags Britain and gives the race to the Kiwis.
Yep, standing by, boys. 15 this way.
So this is perhaps just about the only time that you might see any of the crews out here quietly nursing their way around the course, although it really doesn't look like that, does it? As training runs go.
That's quietly nursing. I'd hate to see what aggressively going for it is.
But it is a free shot, effectively, for Emirates Team New Zealand. A strange old dynamic, really, but one that needs doing if they're to make sure of their 2-0 advantage.
They'll try their time and distance from a fair distance, I would imagine. Don't be over, don't break anything, start the race. Very likely black flag. The Brits, who are still in at the dock with a broken wing, a piece to their wing, and don't be over early, Peter, when you're by yourself.
So they're hammering their way forwards and crossing the start line safely enough.
Be interesting to see if they do continue on the race. I mean, essentially, they got the course to themselves right now.
Is that up to them?
Here we go.
Black flag, race awarded to NZL.
So that was Richard Slater telling the Kiwis that the Brits have been black flagged and the race has been awarded to them by default.
And there's their opposition.
Not where you want to be when the start of your race goes. I bet these guys go around the track. They were just going 44 knots right there. I don't know if you saw that.
Because they can.
Really taking your foot off the accelerator.
Well, is there an element of nose rubbing at this point?
No, not even close. I think they probably had a little meeting there in between races, knowing these guys weren't going to get back out to the start. And what are we trying to accomplish on the racetrack by ourselves? Are there some tests we want to do? Maybe they put a couple new pieces on the boat. You never know. But it seems to me that they're still hammered down trying to learn something going around the racetrack.
Pressure on him. We should go full pace like he's above us here, and we'll drive back for a right turn.
Remember, the Kiwis practice by themselves in Auckland for a number of months, so they're kind of used to doing this. So you heard Peter Burley just say, let's just practice like he's right above us here right now. We'll do one more jibe and inning. So they're not backing off the pedal at all, and they're going to use this as a nice little training session.
There you see their unique setup with the side claws pedaling away for all they're worth. With the Burlingame control at the back and this distribution of responsibilities, one that's working really well for them out here, with Glenn Ashby trimming the whim and Burlingame control at the helm, Blair Tuke the tactician, and it just means that spread that no one person is overloaded.
Yeah, well, I think Blair Tuke is really functioning the dagger boards far more. He's taking that responsibility away from Peter Burling far more than a lot of the other skippers. We've looked at the hand grips on the steering wheels. We just have buttons on these steering wheels right here, and those are definitely, he has some control to some features of the dagger board, but for the most part, Blair Tuke, who's the aftmost peddler, or as he's running across the boat, it's hard to pick out right now, he actually controls those dagger boards quite a bit more, I think, than Peter Burling does. Remember, they're never going to tell us all the secrets, the tricks of the trade.
A sorry sight for British sailing fans, for British sporting fans. So Ben Ainsley firmly on the back foot already. Going to have to come from 2-0 down to somehow find a way past the Kiwis, who are just busy tuning up. It was going to be a ferociously difficult challenge for the Brits regardless, Ken, but now it really is going to take something special.
Interesting. Hearing more communication out of Burling in a practice race than we do during a normal race.
So the manoeuvres slick and crisp as ever from the Kiwis, and we'll let them wend their way down the race course as they...
Very cool views, though, really seeing how quickly those cyclists can get onto their seats and clip in and get that thing rolling. Amazing stuff.
So off they go. A training run that will no doubt afford them a little bit of space to breathe. And in the meantime, we're going to have another look at the first race of the day, that dramatic first race of the day in its entirety, such as it was. New Zealand against Great Britain in their first Challenger playoff semi-final. These pre-starts, Kenny, what's going on out there now?
Well, this one already, we've seen